Welcome to lesson 5 in this Create Your Own Pacman game in Scratch course. So far we have a Pacman character that looks like the traditional Pacman, and he opens and closes his mouth in the same animation. We can move him around left and right and up and down, and we have a maze in which he can move around. However, as you can see at the moment, unfortunately, he can move through the walls of the maze. So in this lesson, what we need to do is to work out how to make sure that he can't move through the walls and he's limited to just moving up and down, left and right through the corridors. So far, we do have some code for moving him around. It's this block of code here. So we have the when clicked button at the top, and then a forever loop, and inside the forever loop are 4 if blocks. And each of these if blocks are asking one simple question, whether the user is pressing, in this case, the letter W. And if they are, then Pacman faces in the right direction and moves forwards, in this case 5 steps. And then we have the up, down, left and right blocks of code down here as well. Now what happens if Pacman is, say, running along this corridor and then he hits this blue wall? What we want to do is to make sure that if he does hit the blue wall, we know about it, and then move him back away from the wall. So we very quickly bounce him off the wall so he's not starting to walk through it. So we need a way of sensing whether or not he's touching the wall. So what we're going to do is inside this forever block here, where we have our 4 if blocks, we're going to add a 5th if block. So I'm going to go into Control and find the if block. There it is. I'll zoom in slightly so you can see this more clearly. And we need to know here if Pacman is touching the maze. Now, of course, as far as the computer is concerned, this whole backdrop is the maze. It's all just simply one picture. But the way that we can tell if Pacman is touching the wall is to ask whether he's touching the color. And you might remember when I showed you in the last lesson how to draw the maze, I suggested that you do stick to one single color for the whole maze. So that means now we can simply ask the question, if Pacman is touching blue, then step backwards. So we're going to go to Sensing, and you'll see that at the top here, or near the top, we have this touching color block. So touching color question mark, and that goes inside our if block. Now, which color is it? It's certainly not this green color. If I click on that green color, you see we can choose colors, but the easiest thing for us to use is this eyedropper at the bottom. If I click on that and then move my mouse over the maze, you'll see that we've got a kind of magnifying glass that's zooming in on the maze. And if I move it over the edge, you'll see there's a small square in the center of the magnifying glass. And what I want to do is to position that small square over one of the blue lines. And then I'm going to click. And that now sets the color to exactly the same color as the walls of the maze. So if Pacman is touching this blue color, what do we want to do? Well, normally if we are pressing the movement keys, Pacman moves 5 steps. I think we started earlier on with 10 steps. Now I've reduced the size of Pacman and put him in this maze. I've changed that to 5 steps, forwards, backwards, left and right. So if he's moved 5 steps in any direction and now he's touching blue, he needs to step back 5 steps. So we're going to go to Motion, grab the Move Steps block and put that inside this if block. Now how do we say 5 steps backwards? Well, it's very simple. Instead of moving 5 steps, we move minus 5 steps. So put a minus sign just before the 5. And now I can move this up into the forever loop just after the last if block. Make sure you don't put this inside the if block. This needs to just be inside the forever block, so you're just inside that bottom section just there. Okay, I'm going to let go, and there it is. Now, this isn't a perfect solution, and we're going to improve this, but let me show you what we've got so far. Let me just position Pacman there, go full screen, and run. And you'll see if I move towards this wall there, I'm pressing the key. You may even be able to hear me pressing the key, but he's not going through the wall. Let's try this one. No. You can almost see him bouncing back off that wall. Let's try going up. We go up, he hits the wall and stops. And let's try going down. Again, you can hear me pressing the key for down. He won't go down. So he does seem to be locked into the maze. So he can move around and he's locked in the maze. That seems pretty good. So what's the problem with it? Well, it is still possible sometimes to go through the wall. How am I doing that? Well, I'm actually doing that by pressing the up and left key, or the down and right key at the same time. And that does cause a problem because he's now traveling diagonally, and that does allow him to still go through the walls. So it works perfectly well as long as we're only pressing up, down, left or right. So we're not pressing more than one key at a time. So let's fix that then. So what we need to do here is to just change each of these little if blocks that control the movement if we press a letter. Now what I'm going to do is move all of these out of the forever block for the moment, and I'm going to separate them so we can just see things a little bit more clearly. Now the one we've added at the bottom we're not going to change, that's absolutely fine, but what we are going to do is make one change to each of these other 4 if blocks. So these are the 4 blocks that say if we are pressing the key for up, move up. If we're pressing the key for down, move down. But we don't really want to say that. For example, this block here says if we're pressing the letter W, point in the up direction and move 5 steps. But really, what we want to do here is to say if we're pressing the letter W, then if we are not touching blue, move 5 steps. So that means that we're checking to see if we're touching blue already before we start moving. So because we're asking another if question, we need another if block. And this is one that's going to be used the same way for all 4 of these direction blocks. So if what? Well, we are also looking to see if we are touching the colour blue. So let's just click on the eyedropper and grab that same colour blue. There it is. So we do kind of want to know if we're touching the blue colour, but that's not quite right, because we want to know if we're not touching the blue colour, because if we're not touching it, then we can move. So how do we ask the question, are we not touching the blue colour? The answer is in operators, and you'll see that there's a block that actually has the word not in it. So what I'm going to do is to drag the touching colour and put it inside the not block, and then move all of that back up into the if block. So now we're asking the question, if we are not touching blue, then what do we do? Well, for this, what I'm doing is just changing this block of code here for my W key, which is the up key. So if we're pressing the W key, then we move. Well, we don't want to do that. we want to move these two lines of code inside this if block and then move this if block back up inside the first one. So you can see this block of code here now says if the user has pressed the key for going up, then if we're not touching blue, point upwards and move. And that's the kind of question we need for all four of these movement blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this if question and just move those two blue blocks out. Let's just move this out of the way a bit. And I'm going to duplicate this twice more, like that. So for each one of these blocks, what I'm going to do is take the two blue blocks for movement and put them inside this new if block and then move that back inside the movement key. Do the same for this one here. So I'm going to move the two movement blocks, put them inside the if not touching color block and move that back inside the movement block. And then the final one. So take the movement blocks and put them inside the if not touching blue and move that back inside the movement block. Connect that back up, put this bounce if block at the bottom, and there we are. We've now reconstructed that whole block of if questions, and that can all go now back inside our forever loop. So the computer will forever be asking those questions. Let's go full screen and run this again. And you'll see that if I move left and right, he's still being blocked from moving into the walls. And if I try moving diagonally, I'm pressing the keys in the same way I did before, you can see he is stopped from moving. So try as I might, there is no way he is able to pass through any wall, no matter how many keys on the keyboard I'm pressing. So that now means that Pacman is completely locked to the maze, and that seems really good. We are making progress, but there is a problem, because in the real Pacman game, he doesn't move like that. You'll see that if I am pressing the keys for movement and I let go of the keyboard, he stops moving. He just pauses, and I can freeze him anywhere I want. But that's not how Pacman actually moves. Pacman is always moving. So when you play the game, he constantly moves in whichever direction you faced him. And so in the next lesson, lesson 6, we'll need to add that as well. Another thing that we'll need to do, if I just leave Pacman up here, for example, and I stop the game, the next time I play the game, he starts from the same position I left him in. And that's not right either. We want to make sure that every time we start a game, Pacman is beginning in whatever we've decided is the start position. So those two things, making sure Pacman always begins in the same position and that Pacman is always moving, no matter what keys on the keyboard we're pressing, will be what we'll cover in lesson 6 as soon as you're ready.